and we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the People's Forum YouTube channel. Those of you that are joining by Zoom, welcome as well. My name is Claudia de la Cruz, and I am the director of the People's Forum. Very excited to be amongst amazing artists of Dominican descent, most of which live in the New York City area. Mostly excited because we are premiering the audiovisual project Presencia Terror, which is honoring the life and legacy of Luis Terror Días, one of the most influential artists in the Dominican arts of the 20th century. The production was carried out by Lliam Greguez and TPF's own Elizabeth Catlett studio manager, Reynaldo García, Pantaleón, and Alex Guerra, who will be speaking a little bit more in the following minutes. The project was carried and captured by 13 recording sessions that were held in the space in TPF last December, with the participation of at least 14 groups or individual artists. We're very honored and very glad to be able to have hosted the space, understanding the importance of reclaiming the legacy of Luis Terror Días. It's important to say that as we are celebrating Father's Day, we celebrate him and we celebrate the legacy that he has left with his kids and also with the many communities, not only the Dominican community, but internationally with everyone that he was able to bless with his music. We're also celebrating his birthday. So it's a double celebration in honor of Luis Terror Días. I would like to present our facilitator for tonight, Catherine Diaz is an organizer and an educator in the Washington Heights community. So Kathy, take it away.
Thanks, Claudia. I'm really excited to be facilitating today's talk. As Claudia mentioned, Luis is an icon. And I think what's really special for me to do this today is that I actually learned of Luis's music through a lot of the folks on the screen and through really the vibrant community of Dominican artists here in New York that, came in the 80s mostly. And so to learn of his music and to learn of the research he did, of the compilations and everything, and meet a community of artists that really safeguard our traditions and histories is beautiful. And so, just to also know that, right, to celebrate his life and his legacy today, and to do it virtually is super dope, right? In a lot of ways, the internet is forever. And a lot of folks don't know his story, don't know his legacy. And, to have not only this talk today, but also the audiovisual project to live online is really going to, carry and continue to carry his legacy to other generations in the future. And so, with that said, we're going to be taking you a little bit behind the scenes of the audiovisual project, Presencia Terror, talking to some of the producers, to Mari Diaz, who is Luis Diaz's daughter, and, give us a little sneak peek about the project, on both the audio and visual side. And then, of course, we're going to premiere the project today at 7 p.m. right after this talk. Just as a quick note, this talk is going to be mostly in English or in the language that folks feel comfortable speaking. So, we all know how twists of the tongues go. So some folks might just twist into Spanish. And so if you miss something, you have questions, or if you need translation, feel free to drop in the Q&A or to ask through the comments section. So first up, we're going to hear from Mari Diaz. And, we would love to hear a little bit more about who was your father, who was Luis, what role did he play in really shaping Dominican music for those of us who don't know?
Bueno, yo prefiero hablar en español. Primeramente, yo quiero darle las gracias. Muchas gracias en nombre de la familia Díaz, en nombre de mi padre principalmente, que sé que está feliz con este proyecto. Gracias a Reynaldo, Alex, Kayla, Lliam, a todos ustedes. Quiero agradecerle inmensamente. Y este proyecto yo sé que no es el primero, no es el primero, pero no va a ser el último. Y yo sé que vamos a seguir dándole vida al legado de papi, porque habemos personas que sí nos interesa eso y eso es lo que importa. El interés y cuando hay interés en algo, eso se logra.
Absolutamente. Yo estaba diciendo un poquito en inglés, que por ejemplo yo no conocía la música de Luis y llegué a conocerla cuando conocí a Reynaldo, a Kayla, a Nina y a esa comunidad. Entonces hay muchos jóvenes alrededor del mundo, pero mayormente aquí en Estados Unidos, que quizá no conocen a Luis y a su música, pero obviamente reconocemos que en la música de hoy en día se escucha a Luis en una forma u otra. ¿Nos puede hablar un poquito de quién fue su papá y el legado de su música?
Papi era, para mí, era único. Papi era algo como tan diferente como padre, hablando como tan diferente a lo que yo veía en ese, porque yo me crié con los padres de Luis. Y yo casi no veía a mi papá porque siempre estaba en su música y en sus quehaceres y sus cosas. Yo lo entendía porque mis abuelos me decían eso. Mi papá no puede venir a verte porque está muy ocupado, él canta. Y yo, oh, pero papi, son de los que cantan, que salen en la radio, sí. Y ellos sí, a veces sonaba con Flores a María en la radio y el grupo Convite. Y mi abuelo me decía, mira, ese que está ahí, ese es tu papá. Y yo, wow. No, yo me crié como en un campo con mis abuelos, con los padres de Luis y yo lo veía quizá en 6 meses, él como 2 o 3 veces. Cuando él iba a tocar para Santiago, que iba o si iba para el río, voy a ver a mi muchacho, me llevaba para el río Masi Pedro, él fue el que me enseñó primera vez a la capital. Él fue que me enseñó, me sacaba los ríos. Con él fue que yo conocí el mar por primera vez, al igual que su nieto también fue que lo enseñó. Te voy a enseñar Mai. y viví mucha experiencia como padre, como hija, pero muy bonita, muy bonita. Yo me sentía tan feliz cuando él iba, porque él no me veía mucho, ni a mí ni a mi hermano, porque somos dos, Francis y Díaz. Y él no nos veía mucho, pero cuando él iba a visitarnos, él como que llenaba todo ese tiempo que no tenía, porque él nos sacaba a salir, nos jugaba con nosotros, nos enseñaba muchísimas cosas, nos hablaba, mira, esto es así, te corregía cositas, pero siempre con mucho cariño, muy cariñoso.
Bueno, qué lindo. Y acerca de este proyecto visual que han trabajado los productores, ¿tienes quizá una canción favorita o hay, por ejemplo, alguien, parte del tributo que te trae muchas emociones o recuerdos, no sé?
Ay, pero canciones favoritas. Yo no tengo, son que todas me gustan, yo todas, mira, Elena me encanta, me gusta muchísimo Vísteme de lluvia. Sí, el proyecto de ahora. Sí, de lo que grabaron ahora también me gusta muchísimo. Es que todas las canciones de Luis tienen algo que tiene que tú, cónchale, pero esta está buena y esta también. Y siempre tienen como ese amarre que de una forma u otra, favoritas son todas. De una forma u otra, siempre te captan algo que tú tienes que elegirla. De verdad.
Sí, bien, bien. Ok. Pues, muchísimas gracias, Mari. Y nada, al final de este, y es un conversatorio, ¿no? Así que al final vamos a estar tomando preguntas. Well, we're going to be taking questions at the end of this conversation. So if you do have questions for Mari, feel free to drop it in the Q&A as well. And so next up, we're going to hear from Lliam Greguez. I got it right? Lliam Greguez, who is a sound engineer, one of our producers on this project. And as a great fun fact or a piece of history, he also recorded both of Luis's US albums that were recorded here in New York. So, feel free to tell us, Lliam, a little bit about, how you met Luis when he came to New York, and just about, your role in working side by side with him.
Hello, everyone. I met Luis. I don't keep track of days or years, but I had a recording studio at El Taller with Bernardo Palumbo, who I met through Pete Seeger. And then Luis would come and he would play there, and I had some guitars. I actually had a bolt-on neck guitar that we would trade back and forth. It wasn't the best guitar, but we were talking about how it's not necessarily the instrument, but it's how your fingers work the instrument. And we just got along great, and we understood each other. And I was nowhere near the genius he was, but I was good at bouncing off of what he did, and also keeping him pushed forward in his music. So we worked really well together. It was always interesting bouncing back and forth between the duo sessions we would do and the band sessions we would do, because you had to play each one a little bit differently. But he was an amazing person to work with. Though I was not very good at the language, he called me his Taino brother. So I was very honored with that. And yeah, we got to go down to DR and spend a month down there, do a number of shows down there. And, played a number of places in New York City as well.
Awesome. So, what was it like to work on this project? I mean, I can't imagine, recording and supporting, with side by side with him, and now in this tribute. Can you walk us through that experience? What it felt like, and just about the project in general as well.
Well, first of all, it's Ray and Alex that get the real honors for how much work they put into this. I was mostly on the sidelines, giving my ideas, reinforcing what I heard, and helping to smooth things out. My guitar got onto a number of the videos. I got to play on a few of them myself. And it was, I was so pleased to be able to support this work to honor Luis, because he is an amazing musician. He's an amazing thinker and historian and rhythmist. He understood all the rhythms. And so to see all of these various people with their various backgrounds come in and give their interpretation of how they heard Luis was just marvelous. So I was there more as a support and kind of a side person to what everybody else did.
And what would you want folks to take away from this project? And that might be something that I'm going to ask everyone in general as well.
Well, I think part of it is, like I said, each group or each musician brought their own interpretation of it. I think it's a really nice way of another nice way of presenting the music of Luis, because he himself was so varied in what he produced. So many rhythms, so many forms that he showed his music as. So I'm just hoping that this makes his music, his thinking, his ideas, his genius more accessible to more people, because he's someone that the world should know about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And as you alluded to your fellow colleagues, both Reynaldo, García Pantaleón, and Alex Guerra, who worked on this project. So, I'm going to just dive in and talk to Reynaldo real quick, who is obviously with Maddie and Kyla. And I would love, Ray, just to start, tell us about the tribute behind you to Luis.
Oh, no. I'm going to be switching between Spanish and English. So I think, Luis is such an inspiration in all levels to me. Now I'm very sensitive today because we came down to the wire. So what people are going to be enjoying today, it came down to the wire. We weren't counting on the circumstances of today with the pandemic and all that, and the distances that created. So I'm very sensitive. So if I cry or anything like that, so it's fine. So anyway, Luis was such an inspiration in so many ways, not only as a musician, as an artist. I'm not a musician. I'm a visual artist. I paint. I draw very badly, I think, but I try to express myself. So the first thing he teach me is it doesn't matter how much you learn or how much knowledge you found out there, keep present who you are. He never forgot. Mary never mentioned the countryside where he's come from. My Mombo now. Luis, it didn't matter where he was. Russia, of all places, the USSR. He will remember that he was from my Mombo now. So, and that's the main thing. It doesn't matter how much you learn and how much you know and you galvanize knowledge. It's like how you combine it with what you have. That's what is amazing about Luis. And as Lliam was saying, like so many shapes and forms. And me as a visual artist, that was the first influence. Then jumping into playing with Palomonte, learning a little bit of Palo, a little bit of Congo, and then Luis saying, vamos a tocar con los muchachos. And then yo me encuentro en un escenario con Luis de repente y tirando sangre de los dedos, porque tocar con Luis, si tú no tenías la experiencia, de repente trataba de competir con todo ese sonido que venía de la guitarra y de todos los otros instrumentos y la combinación, y tú compitiendo ahí por simple que fuera, y de repente sangrando, y yo, y los muchachos sangran, eso es lo que hay. Pero después tú aprendes a encontrar tu espacio en la banda, y Luis me dejó tocar con él. Entonces una vaina que de repente, so many levels, porque ese era el tipo que yo veía en Santo Domingo, que entré al culto del terror después de mi hermano Vladimir García y de amigos entrañables. Yo entré tarde, pero entré y de repente amigos y janguear en esta sala y esto que ustedes ven aquí, él lo vio. Entonces, es demasiado niveles de la influencia y de la relación con Luis.
Pero tú no puedes, por ejemplo, yo veo un cuadro atrás de Mari que hay de Luis, so, you know, there's a painting behind Luis. Can you tell us about some of the just like objects you have around you? I'm sure folks would love to know.
Yeah, thank you. I produce a little bit to play. I'm a producer, right? So this is a palo that I got to play with Las Maravillas, the band with Luis. I'm starting with the drum because Luis used to say, like, play the guitar like a drum. He invented guitambor, guitar drum, guitar tambor. So he used to play and switch rhythms that they're supposed to be rhythmic and created melodies out of them. So it was amazing his approach to the guitar. So empiezo con el tambor, sigo con esa, me toca mucho esa pintura porque realmente yo la hice después que Luis murió. Entonces ya fue en el 2010 para el último Quisqueya en Hudson. Shout out to my sister and mentor Nina Paulino. Luis falleció en el 2009 lamentablemente y nosotros hicimos ese Quisqueya en Hudson que resultó ser el último hasta ahora y nada, Luis le cantaba a los trabajadores, a la gente del campo, a la gente humilde, a los íconos de la marginalidad dominicana como Olivorio Mateo, como Mamá Tingó. Y digo marginalidad porque obviamente a las élites no le interesan que sean tan importantes como fueron. Entonces se me ocurrió que Luis finalmente había alcanzado el nivel que él buscaba a esa gente que le cantaba constantemente, como Olivorio Mateo, como Mamá Tingó. Entonces ese elemento femenino, masculino, a Luis le decían el terror, pero no había una persona más tierna que Luis Díaz. Y a mí me consta por su relación con mi hijo Vincent, que creció con él, viéndolo de chiquitito. El primero que le ofreció una clase de guitarra fue él. De hecho, tengo aquí en mi sala un retratito de Vincent como de 6 años que lo hizo Luis. Entonces, ¿cómo te digo? Sigo con el cuadro. Esta guitarra es la guitarra que es mía, pero Luis la tocaba, le encantó, un Squire de 73. La utilicé como símbolo, el tambor y la guitarra, como esa relación del tambor y lo tradicional y lo moderno y lo eléctrico. Y ustedes lo van a ver cuando aprovechen y se queden para la premiere de Presencia Terror. Y allá tenemos, que se lo estoy pasando, yo lo tengo aquí desde 2006. Luis lo usó para tocar en SOBs, que fue el último show que hicimos como La Maravilla, 2006, 28 of February, SOBs, and he played with that one, and he left it here, and it's been here for so many years, and now I'm passing it back to Mari because it's the rightful owner. So, you know, it's a bunch of objects that mean a lot to what Luis represents to us here in New York City, and some of us, because again, we capture on this project, and now I'm talking about it, you know, almost 40 people in different ensembles, alone by themselves, solo artists or then groups, but that's only 40. I mean, we could have had like easily 200 people coming in and doing stuff. For one reason or another, you know, they were not able to join, but everybody has the spirit to join in because that was Luis. There's so many anecdotes of who he was, you know. And I'm gonna close with that one about him and what this represents. I remember once in 2002, a big documentary that was done, and someone asked him, "Is your band Las Maravillas professional?" And he went and said, "Everyone in Las Maravillas is a professional. Lliam Greguez, Jorge Suberví, Luis Jesús Ruiz, Robert Julián." Y entonces estaba yo, el dedo meñique, el pinky finger, y dijo, Reynaldo no es un músico profesional, pero lo que trae la banda es necesario y es una persona que le pone pasión a lo que hace. So, yo lo estoy mencionando porque me estoy tomando como ejemplo de cómo era Luis. Una anécdota rápida. Cuando Luis muere en 2009, que hicimos una reunión rápida, gracias a Claudia de la Cruz, en la iglesia San Romero, y hicimos una reunión rápida y todo el mundo contando anécdotas. De repente se paró un muchacho jovencito, sobrino de Manuel Jiménez, que habían hecho un homenaje a Juan Bosch. Y resulta que él tocó la tambora en el homenaje, grabó, pero en la gira lo tenían cargando los cables. Cuando Luis lo vio al lado del escenario cargando los cables, le dijo, usted grabó la tambora, venga para acá a tocar la tambora conmigo, coño. Ese era Luis. Big names, no names. Everybody was, you know, bringing in their own thing. You know? I'm sorry, I'm very...
No, thank you. That's beautiful. I mean, today is his birthday, right? And so
yes,
this is a perfect day to bring those stories and share that out with community and folks who want to know more about him and his legacy. So thank you, Ray, and everyone for sharing. So Ray, tell us, you know, where the idea for the audiovisual project Presencia Terror came from. You know, tell us a little bit about what it took to kind of get it rolling.
I'm just going to mention the root of it. New York has been doing a lot of things since its passing. You know, we were lucky, and you know, Juan Villar was an amazing, you know, admirer of Luis's music and all. So he named the music salon and gathering place Gregorio Luperón High School after him. And then we were trying to do things every year. And then in 2018, we you know, took advantage of Lliam Rodriguez and you know, he took up, you know how it goes. So anyway, 165th is named after Amsterdam is named after Luis. And then for the 10th anniversary, I just said, pero ven acá, ¿y qué es lo que estamos hablando y jodiendo tanto por Luis, el nombre, la vaina? Lo importante es la obra de Luis, la música de Luis. Déjame reunirme primero cuando se me ocurrió la idea con Mari, a ver si ella nos da permiso. Y ella cuando yo le hablé me dijo sí, pero eso hace un año. Y de repente yo dije, bueno, el equipo con el que trabajamos antes, Lliam y Alex, déjame ver qué dicen ellos. Ya yo tengo el sí de Mari, que era lo importante. Me aproximé a Lliam, yes. Me aproximé a Alex, yes. Y ya, y fue llamar gente y como dije, se quedaron gente fuera por las circunstancias de esta gran ciudad, pero realmente fue una acogida y obviamente tener el acceso a PPF, a The People's Forum. That was the other light bulb. It was like, at first I thought, oh, lo hacemos en cualquier sitio, una esquinita, hasta en mi casa. Pero después, oh, ven acá, pero el pueblo tiene un espacio, tú me entiendes, vamos a darle para allá. Y Claudia y obviamente también Manolo, el pasado director, Manolo de los Santos, dijeron que sí. So por ahí va la cosa. Y yo de lo técnico que hable un poco ya, Alex.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So next up, we're going to talk to Alex Guerra, who is one of our producers on this project. Also work closely with Luis. You know, so, you know, Alex, tell us all the technical, tell us what it took to kind of make this project that started a year ago, ultimately, to fruition.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. It's really been a really nice experience to get back together with the whole team, and you know, we worked on some Luis related projects years ago with with the Radio Macana production. And we've kept in touch, we've remained friends, and it's it's really nice to have been reapproached about honoring a real friend and tutor, and just like Lliam said, a thinker, someone who you grow up respecting, and excuse me, someone coming down the stairs, and hey, I'm on the phone. Sorry about that. It's my daughter. So yeah, it's been a really nice experience to just be able to be there for his legacy, be there for Mari, and be there for the close niche of people who have nothing but the best intentions in keeping his obra, his overall musical genius and concept going. As far as the technicality, I mean, it's initially we had envisioned capturing a semi-acoustic performance overall. We have everyone bring in different songs, and we just capture them in sort of like an unplugged setting. But of course, everybody has their own preferences. So we had to take precautions. And I'm thankful to Lliam for helping me, with the different settings and microphone positioning and cabling and all that. Because we knew that at the end, folks were gonna do what they were gonna do. There are a few. There were a few takes where it's just guitars, and a few takes where it's usually a 3 to 4 piece band. Once the capture was done, we listened to the takes, the tunes, and over time decided to develop a little bit more into it, make it, bring it from a 3-piece performance to a 6-piece performance, adding keys and strings and 3-part harmonies. En el caso, por ejemplo, de Los Placeres con Mari cantando. And Native reservations, aunque Native es el ejemplo perfecto de cómo se simplifica algo y se hace bastante minimalista. But that's it. But the overall intention, as I said, is to maintain Luis as the inspiration that he really is, and as the influence that he's become over time, and as someone who for many years was cast aside or purposefully underrated. I wouldn't need to get into that, but the whole concept overall, whether it's technically or intellectually, is to keep his music and his art around for the next generations. Let's face it, we're getting old. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool. So you've kind of alluded to that, right? In terms of how, and as you said, we don't have to get solely into it. But like, what really distinguishes Luis's music? I know that the audiovisual project is gonna have multiple groups, different types of interpretations of his music. But, what is it that's so special about Luis's work?
Well, yeah, I mean, that I think that's the part that keeps me coming back, right? I'm a musician turned into engineer, and an engineer turned into a musician, kind of playing the dual role. But yeah, musically speaking, I think he's an incredible and gifted songwriter. I think I was telling Ray and Cynthia the other day when we were capturing some vocals that Luis is usually or generally recognized for his social content compositions. However, I think in the realm of romantic songwriting, I think he's way beyond any other Dominican singer songwriter that you and I can think of. I mean, and yeah, I mean, he was, from the first moment I met him, his whole thing was, you have to stay true to yourself and stay honest within yourself. Just enough not to let bullshit come through. And this was something he told me back in '91 when I first met him. I was some kid in high school, barely, graduating or whatever. And it's something that I've held true since. He's a true inspiration in the sense of recognizing who we are as people, who we are as Dominicans. What makes us who we are and what we are. What do we need to select and denounce out of that identity? Okay, there's a lot of denouncing to do, patriarcado, racismo, toda esa pendejada. En términos del approach musical, ¿qué te puedo decir? Luis consumió tanto música barroca, clásica, como música de Burundi, del Camerún. O sea, era un tipo que conversaba, podía sentarse contigo y conversar a nivel de cualquier esfera musical que compone, ¿no?, lo que es la cultura dominicana.
And in thinking about the project, I know, obviously there's different performances and interpretations, but I know that there's also some original footage that you guys kind of mixed together. Alex, you could speak to that, but of course, Lliam and Reynaldo, you're welcome to as well. Can you talk about that, bringing in his own voice and his own past performances into this project?
Yeah, thank you, Kathy, for that particular direction. Yeah, it is very important to point out that we got together and interpret the music, all the people that came around and did their takes. But at the same time, in my little head, I kept thinking, like, oh, we're doing this, but Luis is going to have a part. So now we're talking about the project, how we put it together, but we're not talking about the content of the project. Because when you get to see it at 7 in the premiere, stick around for it. Now I feel like a seller. So yeah, I in my head, I kept thinking, this is gonna be Luis's story on his own words. And we're gonna put it together. And then, Lliam and Alex, they know the Luis's work so well that it was so easy to just like pick the pieces that organically each artist work on, and then when you see the documentary, the audiovisual, it's not a documentary, but the audiovisual, you'll see that pretty much he's doing the introduction to each song. And I was so lucky, and we were so lucky, that one musician that was part of La Maravilla, Robert Julian, who's also studied movie making, cinema, City College. He's an amazing musician in his own right. Has an amazing band going on out there. So thank you, Robert. He passed me a clip of a 1998 interview that he did of Luis here in New York. So he's talking about his experience here. But then I got in contact with Manuel Betances, who's the person in the Dominican Republic doing a little bit or a lot of promotion for this down there. Thank you, Manuel. And he got me a clip from an interview in the DR in 1998. So Luis is talking about New York City, New York, with Robert Julian, and talking about Santo Domingo with the person, I forgot his name, sorry, but it was a program, and the shout out is in the credits, everything's in the credits, everything is being strictly credited. Everyone who did anything here, because another thing is, no one is getting a penny out of this. Or ask for any money. And we live in New York City, and it's like the kind of things that surprise me, that we live in the capital of imperialism, of capitalism, and there's so many people putting down their work voluntarily, just out of admiration for the work of this man. So, you know, everything got together, and we got those clips, and it's like woven together, like we here in 2019, doing his music, and also part of the collective music that was created, because another one of the collaborators was Ivan Dominguez, an original member of Convite. So imagine that Luis is talking about Convite, and the next thing is Ivan Dominguez there. So many things happen, regardless of what people may think, or the taste, the individual taste of the different takes on Luis's songs. You know, it just got woven together so well, and so thankful. We are so thankful, and all the bouncing and the experience that we had before, Alex, Lliam, and I with Radio Macana, you know, that they kind of train us for this part, and you know, take out the pandemic and the distancing and all that, but you know, it was an amazing work, and visually the facilities at TPF, the fact that we have top-notch cameras, we have top-notch computers. So, you know, the personnel there, shout out Brian Diaz, Frisley, you know, helping out, coming in off hours and doing this, and getting to know Luis's music and having their own favorite songs now out of the bunch, which is amazing. So, you know, it's just, I just hope that people get to enjoy it and take something positive out of it individually, and that is for so many here. One thing before I forgot, another part that motivated me, and us, I'm saying me, but I'm talking for Lliam and Alex. We're making sure that most of the funding out of this, because we're not charging for the video, we're not charging for the YouTube stuff, but the audio is gonna be out there in Bandcamp. So if you buy a song, most of those fundings are gonna go towards the family, the Diaz estate, and the you know, the people who deserve so many years of hard work that Luis Diaz dedicated to Dominican culture. So if there's any fruits out of this, monetarily speaking, we're making sure that it's going on that direction. So please, $1 here, $1 there for a song you like is gonna make a lot for us and for the family. Not for us, for the family. I'm talking like
It's okay.
so yeah, I mean, it's visually, let's see. Whatever you have to say visually, talk to me. When you see it.
So Ray, you mentioned a few names and some of the groupings. Can you tell us, you know, who's on this project? Like, just some of the folks who are on there, you know, were they folks who performed with Luis in the past? Are they just, you know, people who love Luis's music? You know, tell us about bringing these artists.
It's interesting because, you know, we are kind of at this point a little bit of the old guard. So we don't probably know, you know, some of the newest folks around in Dominican alternative music. But, you know, the Luis legacy, Luis Terror Días legacy is just galvanizing. Everybody gets together, like they hear the name, and it's like, what can I do? Oh, so you know, all folks that come from the DR, like I mentioned, Lliam Greguez, Neris Olivares, they have a beautiful duet going on with very beautiful stuff. Guácaras, people that you know came from the DR and they work here also, and meshing together with newest generation of amazing percussionists like Jay Black and Api. So you know, again, Lumi Hilario, who's been an artist of the community for so many years. Guillermo Cárdenas used to play with Luis also, and I'm gonna forget names, but they all equally represented on this project. The same effort that was put into Leopoldo or Henry Menas, who's a pioneer of rock en español in New York City. I always say this guy was doing rocking English in Santiago, moved to New York, back to New York, and then he started singing Spanish. What the hell, man? So anyway, but equally amazing. So, you know, he came in with his guitar, and you gotta hear the tape of a couple of songs that he meshed together. So the same amount of effort that was put into a man with a guitar and a mic and a couple of mics was put into a larger ensemble, you know. So if I forgot any names, please, I'm 53 now, so bear with me. So yeah, I mean, everybody. And the newest generation, the newest generation who were born and grew up, they have photos with Luis carrying them around in his shoulder. Kayla Paulino, you know, the daughter of Nina Paulino, who's part also of a song. Ernesto Rodriguez, so many people. I don't want to forget anyone, but I'm naming names. So I'm going to pass the mic to Kayla now. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kayla, go ahead. I mean, so Kayla, for folks who don't know Kayla, you know, she is a cultural worker, healer. I mean, you came playing and singing out the womb, Kayla. And just a beautiful artist and person. So for folks who are in the New York City scene are familiar with Kayla. So just tell us a little bit, Kayla, about your experience working maybe on this project. You know, and I think a lot of what like folks have said, and even I said, right, like I didn't know personally Luis growing up, and I didn't know his music. And I think for someone like you who from the womb knew Luis, this music has been that tradition of music has been part of your life. Like, tell us about that impact and, you know, what's it like to be part of this tribute?
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's an honor to be a part of this project. I thank everyone who put it together. It's also been my honor to have Luis in my life. Like, Luis was basically my uncle growing up. And I think Luis's legacy, he's so radical. He was so radical that it was like, you know, there are people that they come to this earth and it's like, wherever they speak, they shake things up. They can never, no se esconden. Tú no puedes, Luis no llegaba para un lado y dije, ¿tú conoces a Luis? Sí, yo creo que yo una vez lo conocí. Like, si tú lo conociste, ya tú sabías que tú conocías a Luis. You know, él tenía eso, like, el corazón del pueblo que él habla. Él cargaba eso. So I feel like growing up, you know, cuando tú estás chiquita, tú te das cuenta de la energía de la gente. You might not know exactly who they are in the world, their position, but you understand, you feel the energy. So Luis was somebody that he was like, he had to be born the first day of summer. Like, it's so perfect that he was born the first day of summer because he was like the sun. Like, este tipo, tú lo veías, he would be like wearing little cut-off running shorts with no shirt on in the middle of Alto Manhattan. Maybe like a whole crew of people know him and offer him, he's just stopped to drink, but then he's gonna go to his show and he's the main attraction of the show. And he's just out here like with the people, like you would never know. So I feel like there's something about that, like, you know, Dominican society has a lot of things that are literally just like embedded in our oppression and the culture of colonialism and the way that it's so heavily affected our island as a country that was created basically as a response to a Black Power movement in Haiti. So Luis, as somebody who was money poor from a campo, who from a family that held these traditions, like he came from, so that, to me, that's a griot. That's somebody who their legacy was already being before. Just like I grew up in the, like you said, from the womb doing this, like he grew up from the womb with all this music, all this cultural richness, that though we have it, and it is the pulse that keeps our people alive. It is the therapy like that we have when we get together by a drum and just sing our sorrows and our woes, and people feel us, so we know we're not alone. Like that's what he's coming from. But at the same time, it was like he still went and studied. You know what I mean? And then when he was writing books, though, it's not, oh, I'm just trying to assimilate and become something in this society so I can be elite and bring my people out of this. It's like, look at all the richness that my people have, and fuck all of y'all for not seeing it, you know? And that's so beautiful, because I feel like the system does something where it makes us feel like, oh, you're gonna make it and you wanna remove yourself from these things because this is better and you're gonna bring what's better to your people. And he had it so clear, like, no, you know, if I'm gonna study, all right, cool, to continue to reach for possibilities, to migrate, right? To immigrate and be here and not just be sending pictures in front of like somebody's leather couch or somebody's really fancy car and send it back, or go to DR and just floss over there because you have dollars. No, he was like writing songs, me mataron a mi muchacho, you know what I mean? Like en el sur del Bronx, like esto está pasando aquí, allá y en todos los lados, like él estaba resistiendo con todos los pueblos. The fact, like, and then he understood the macro, but on the micro, he was so human. Like Lliam, as this white guy, was Luis is like best writer, you know, like oh, para arriba y para abajo. And then it's like, but then he's saying fuck like Gringolandia, you know what I mean, and all the imperialists. But then they're writing Native Reservation and they're recording that. You know what I mean? So it's really like I feel like Luis in my life was that example of like, yo, like be like the love for who you naturally organically are, like the love of your ancestors, not being ashamed. And when I think of that quote, Nina Simone, like what is freedom? Freedom is complete absence of fear. It's like he had every reason to be afraid. The things that Luis, there's a reason our people love Luis. It's not random. Like when we're talking about Trujillo, Balaguer, you know what I mean? The level of repression, oppression, murder, like genocide that you're coming up from, that people are being murdered just for speaking the truth, just for saying things, that when people talk about this, also the history of just like communist rebellion and uprising in Dominican Republic, and the fact that a lot of the people that came here were still trying to mobilize in this community to be free. Like we were not only just trying to come and get $1, you know, that thing that they always teach us. The system takes away legacies like Luis, you know, and frustrate people like that, like to the point where we end up fucked up and addicted to substances because they do things like when you're too real, as Luis was, even everybody respected him, but he couldn't be on every stage because even people in the movement doing work, you might still be connected to a nonprofit that needs money from these funders, and that person that speaks too raw, no, they're gonna become a problem, right? So it's really like when we talk, for me, Luis was just that legacy of like a spirit that was so ungovernable that could not be perverted, that was not gonna sell out, that was just gonna always be there for his people. And that's why his music, like in English and Spanish and in whatever, it came out. And the people, regardless how like uncomfortable it might be, like, yo, este tipo está loquísimo. Like he just came through and said everything and was like, but you know, people loved him because the thing is, you knew like it was coming from a real place.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was gonna say too, I think as a listener and somebody who's just in here this and learning of Luis through the people that he loved the most, I mean, I feel like you definitely hear that in his music. Just all of the layers and the complexities and the like where everywhere he listened to and you know where he kind of drew from, right? I think I definitely kind of like when I'm playing a Luis song, a lot of what you're saying resonates with that, right? Kayla. I think what also kind of comes to mind is thinking about, you know, maybe 20, 25 years ago, right? The Dominicans in New York, and a lot of what he spoke and wrote about was not too different from what we live today, because particularly in this historic moment of a pandemic, but I can't help but think about, you know, 20 years later, where we're still living a lot of the same realities, but thinking about how the role or how much Dominicans really influence, you know, US culture, New York City culture. You know, Kyla, do you want to talk a little bit maybe about like some of the songs that you're featured on, or your performances, and kind of like, you know, in this moment, what that meant for you, or what you drew from?
Okay, yeah, it's funny. So one of the songs that I'm featured on is called Hoy Me Voy, and that was a song that Lumi Hilario put together. And as Rey mentioned, Guillermo Cárdenas is for percussion. Like, they work together a lot, Lumi and Guillermo also played with Luis. These are also people I grew up with. So Lumi is my neighbor. We live in the same building since I was growing up. Like, before I turned 1, I moved there. That woman is like another mother to me as well. And so it's very beautiful because, you know, Rey told her, okay, the project, she chose the song, just to be able to have that kind of musical collaboration. It was very special. And it was also special because of things like Luis. I just think about, you were mentioning the movement right now, these times. The movement is really, it's always happening. It's not, oh, now particularly during the pandemic is similar to 25 years. We've been living this. Like, the way that we're living in New York is crazy, right? But we survive together. And I feel like we survive as a people collectively. It is a village. Like Mari was talking about, she was in with her grandparents, and Luis was out here trying to get it and didn't have it. Let's be real. We don't got it out here. People keep, the music today wants us to feel like, oh, we got it. Oh, I got this, I got that. Even people with the car, you got to pay for that car. You got to pay all the tickets that come with that car. You got this jewelry. Okay, how much poison are you selling to your own people to be able to get that? And then you're going to get incarcerated. So it's like, our people don't, we raise up together. So that was beautiful to do that with Lumi and Guillermo. That was dope. The other one, Mateo, I just literally was there. Like, I was like, okay, the People's Forum, these 3 days, gonna be there early, help out. And Rey has the follows. And he's like, okay, Kyla, so we're gonna do Mateo. This is what it is. Like, learn the song, you're drumming, boom, go. And we did it. But it was nice because it also is that. It's like, I was like, okay, dope. Like, these are our people. Everyone, sometimes it's like, how do we be true to ourselves? As you were talking about with Luis. We have so much of what we need to do right now to be more free. We already know because our ancestors have already been doing it for us to be surviving. When we have to ask for somebody what we have to do, that means that that's not vitality. We're not supposed to be doing it. Why should I not know as a grown human adult how I need to move in the earth? You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a beautiful project. It was very random, a lot of it, like that. Like, okay, esto es lo que vamos a hacerlo. But it happened.
I gotta say something. It's never random. She grew up with Palo music.
Yeah.
So don't give me that, Kyla. She grew up with Palo music. It's like, we're doing a Palo. We used to play at Las Maravillas. So we got an amazing Palo Mayor player in Ernesto. And then the beautiful sample that came together and this amazing singer. So nothing is random. Around Luis, nothing is random. And I want to finish or say something because we're getting close to the premiere. To say that people, please listen to the lyrics and to the songs. They're more actual today than they were 30, 40 years ago. Because as Kyla said, this fight against the elites of the world, the rich of the world, the oppressors of the world, it never ends. And Luis was a rebellious and a counterpoint to that. And a person of the people, a very knowledgeable man that ate from the top to the bottom, all the styles that he felt like, oh, this is what I'm into now, jazz. Let me learn Charlie Parker from up to now. But he never forgot that he was the son of a traditional salve singer and a cuatro player, a tres player, his father, who gave him his first guitar. So that's the key. That's the key, you know? It's about the people. So many songs that resonate today that Luis wrote it so many years ago.
Awesome. And before we wrap up, I wanted to just open it up to make a quick round. So, Mari, si tú quieres compartir algo antes de cerrar, antes del estreno, Lliam and Alex as well.
No, yo.
Well, we saved the best for last with Kyla, for sure.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. No, yo quiero, como lo dije al principio, agradecerles a todos. Eso es lo principal, el agradecimiento. Y quisiera y yo sé que el fruto de esto que estamos haciendo, el fruto lo vamos a ver. Eso yo lo sé, y eso es lo que más importa. Y vamos a ver esos frutos, y yo sé que papi está feliz, porque yo lo siento en mi corazón que él está feliz. Y yo sé que él está aquí, está con todos nosotros, porque siempre, siempre él está con nosotros. Siempre. Con Reynaldo, con ella, conmigo, con todos lo que él sabe que son su gente, que lo quieren de corazón. Él está ahí. Y esto es lo que él quiere, y yo lo sé. Porque él es el que está detrás de esto también. Aparte de que nosotros también estamos luchando, yo sé que eso es lo que él quiere. Y eso me llena de mucha alegría. Y vamos a seguir, esto no es, como dije, esto no es el primero y el último, vamos a seguir porque hay mucho material de mi padre que ni siquiera, yo creo que ni Rey lo ha visto.
Es así.
Y yo digo, no se puede, como cuando Reynaldo fue a mi casa una vez, yo le mostré, mira Rey, lo que yo encontré cuando yo fui, que papi falleció, yo recogí todas sus pertenencias, las pocas que pude coger, que eran supuestamente basura y tenían unos fundones de basura. Y Eddie Germán dijo, oye, no, que eso es basura no, eso déjenlo ahí. Cuando yo abrí esa supuesta basura, en papeles de colmado que antes envolvían el azúcar en unos papeles como beige,
sí,
marrones así, brown, y habían manuscritos, canciones o notas musicales, y en cajetilla de cigarrillo la abría, pam, y ahí había manuscritos, había notas musicales. O sea, basura no, eso yo lo tengo ahí. O sea, hay muchas cosas que nadie la conoce. Y eso es lo que yo quiero, que eso salga y que las nuevas generaciones la conozcan y que aprendan y que son cosas que es un cultivo.
Yo quiero decir algo, Mari. Mire, el gran sueño es una antología completa de la obra de Luis Díaz. Olvidémonos de los intérpretes, olvidémonos de Luis Díaz. Ese es el gran sueño. Señores, en República Dominicana, lo estoy diciendo en español, antología completa de la obra de Luis. Olvídense de dinero. Ya no es dinero, es la importancia de esa obra. Y yo, lo último que voy a decir, trago el lomo. Tú sabes, Luis, tienes que beber en mi casa.
Yes.
Toma ahí.
Nada, antes de cerrar, because faltan 2 minutos para las 7, so we got 2 minutes to 7. You know, again, like Reynaldo was saying, all of the individual songs the audio is going to be found on Bootcamp. Folks can support the estate and the legacy of Luis Diaz. You know, and as you learn, if you don't know who Luis Diaz is, you know, he has been severely isolated and left out from the work that he produced that is iconic and central to Dominican music. And on YouTube, not only will this recording be there, but as will live the audio-visual project. So feel free to share it across all socials. You know, this is the way, you know, despite the pandemic, we would have done this in person, but now this is one way for the project to live forward and reach folks across the globe. So thank you so much, Alex, Lliam, Reynaldo, Kyla, Maddie, for being with us tonight. Thank you for the People's Claudia as well, and for the People's Forum for having Brian, who's working in the background for us. So we hope you enjoy Presencia Terror. Feel free to leave a comment on YouTube on what you thought and any feedback on the performances. And of course, you can always reach Reynaldo and the team at the People's Forum for more information. And if you ever want to screen it and share it. So thank you so much, everyone. And we hope you enjoy the show.
Thanks, Kathy.